Hey guys, what's up? I'm Rohit Khurana, host of Intellect. Just in this video, I'm gonna compare the Nexus 5X against the Moto X Pure or Style as it is known in some countries. These phones are incredibly close in pricing and feature some very similar offerings. Let's find out which one is better for you and why. Let's get started with this video. The one in my right hand is the Moto X Pure, priced at around $380. And in this hand, I have the Nexus 5X, which is priced at around $400. They are incredibly same when it comes to chipsets that they use, but there are a lot of dissimilarities. I'll start with the design first. In terms of design, the Moto X Pure or Style comes with a metallic body, a very grippy back, metal accent, and feels very rich and solid. But at the same time, it's a larger 5.7-inch display and is more suitable for two-handed usage and is also fairly heavy at around 180 grams. On the other hand, the Nexus 5X is totally contrast in terms of design. It uses lightweight polycarbonate materials, it weighs only at 136 grams, feels incredibly slim and light, it's soft to touch, and is not as premium in build as you would find on a Moto X Pure. If I have to pick one of these, my personal preference would be something as robust as the Moto X Style. Next, I'll talk display. There is a 5.2-inch display on this guy, which comes with full high definition 1080p display resolution, whereas on the Moto X Pure you get a much richer quad HD display, which is larger in size at 5.7 inches. In terms of color production, display clarity, quality, and pixel per inch, I find Moto X Pure to be much more attractive compared to the Nexus 5X. But the downside on the Moto X Pure is that it gives you lesser battery life and puts more intense pressure on graphics processing because it's a quad HD display, which means it has to render many more pixels at 1440p compared to 1080p for the Nexus 5X, which in turn also impacts the battery life and the overall gaming performance of these two phones. But again, if I have to pick either of these based on the multimedia or graphics performance, I would any day pick the Moto X Pure. Next, let's talk audio. There are dual front firing speakers on the Moto X Pure or Style, whereas there is a single bottom firing speaker on the LG Google Nexus 5X. The richness of sound, depth of bass, and the clarity of audio that you get on the Moto X Pure cannot be matched with one produced by the Nexus 5X. So in audio quality or multimedia performance, Moto X Pure is hands down winner here. Next, we'll talk cameras, and to test it fairly, we have taken same pictures under same lighting conditions at same time with both of these. In terms of rear camera department, Nexus 5X performs much better compared to what you get on the Moto X Pure. The reason is larger pixel size here, which is 1.55 microns. Although it is just a 12.3 megapixel shooter, it produces much more natural colors, good clarity, and gives you much better overall image quality even in HDR against the light shots compared to what you get with the Moto X Pure. So in the rear camera department, when it comes to still photography, Nexus 5X is the clear winner. But wait, what about videos? In video recording as well, you find much richer tones on the Nexus 5X, but it has a major flaw that you would not find on the Moto X Pure. It has flaws when it comes to video stabilization. The videos come out very shaky on the Nexus 5X compared to what you get with the Moto X Style. These are some clips following this right away. You can see the clips by the Nexus 5X on your left and by the Moto X Style on your right. I'm also alternating the audio between these two phones so that you can judge the audio quality of these two as well. Notice the difference in the video stabilization produced by these phones. See the level of optical image stabilization, rather it's digital stabilization since there is no OIS on either of these. But you can see how stabilized the videos are. I'm shooting them with both phones side by side, holding them in my hand next to each other tightly so that you can see how good they are when it comes to stabilizing as well as exposure. You can see how they handle harsh lights. So when it comes to video recording with the rear camera, Moto X is a clear winner any day. Now let's talk front facing cameras. there is a noticeable difference which is in the front facing flash. There is a 5 megapixel shooter on both of these cameras, but there is a flash on the Moto X Pure which you would not find on the Nexus. But again, the color vibrancy and the color correctness that you would find with the pictures taken with these two devices is better on the Nexus 5X. Although the pictures don't look as rich when you take it with the 5X, but when you take them with Moto X Pure, they look richer, but they have certain tone of artificialness attached to it. So when it comes to front facing camera performance, it's slightly subjective when it comes to pictures. But when it comes to video recording with front facing cameras, both are capable of recording in full high definition. And following this is the video samples taken by both of these. Under same conditions, on the left you would find a footage with the Nexus 5X, and on the right you would find a footage taken with the Moto X Pure. And this is a front facing video sample from each of these devices, and you can see how they are responding to light. Next, I'll talk specifications. Both of these phones use same Snapdragon 808 chipset. There is 2 gigs of RAM on the Nexus 5X, whereas there is 3 gigs of RAM on the Moto X Pure. What it means is that you will have more applications in the background on the Moto X Pure, so you can have a smoother multitasking experience on this guy. Both come in 16 and 32 gigs internal memory variants, but there is a big difference when it comes to expandability of memory. You get a micro SD card slot on the Moto X, whereas you don't get the same on the Nexus 5X. So if storage expansion is something that you have on your mind, Moto X better be your choice. In terms of performance number, they are very close, and in terms of speed, the Nexus 5X is slightly ahead because it has to shred less number of pixels because it has a lower display resolution. You can also see a video done by C4eTech. I'm leaving a card right here on your screen. He has done a speed test, a brilliant video you must watch after this one. Let's talk gaming now. If you are someone who plays a lot of games, the Moto X Pure gives you more pixels and a richer display. But again, you have a lower resolution display here, which means less load on the GPU. So the games would be comparatively less stuttering on the 5X. However, both the chipsets are well equipped to manage heaviest of games, so you would not find much of a difference in performance. But if you load them very heavily, you will find that the Nexus 5X performs slightly better compared to the Moto X Pure because it has to shred a lot of pixels to play games which are of the same level. Now let's talk some software features which are different between these two phones. The main one being gestures. There are gesture support on the Moto X Pure, which includes twist to launch the camera quickly, and there is chop chop gesture to turn on the flashlight quickly, which is something that you would not find on the Nexus 5X. On the other hand, you find a Nexus imprint fingerprint scanner on the rear of the Nexus 5X, which is incredibly fast and accurate. It's among the best that you would find in industry. That is altogether missing on the Moto X Pure. You would not find any sort of fingerprint authentication system here. Also, the Nexus 5X comes with an LED notifications which it actually uses, whereas on the Moto X there is an LED but it is not used. It is by default disabled and cannot be enabled unless you root the phone and put a custom ROM. Another feature of the Moto X Pure which I totally love is the Moto display. It turns on the display and shows you quick notifications when you move your hand over it. This hovering gesture is supported on the Moto X Pure, which is very handy when the phone is lying on the table and you want to quickly check whether you have missed something. This feature is not available on the Nexus 5X. Next up is the software version. While the Moto X Pure is still waiting for the Marshmallow 6.0 update, the Nexus is already running Android 6.0 Marshmallow out of the box. This has always been an advantage with the Nexus devices, that you are always running uninterrupted latest versions of Android pushed directly by Google and need not wait for manufacturers to push it from their end. Another big differentiation if you are considering to buy Moto X Style or Pure is that you get dual SIM support in certain markets including India, which you would not get on the Nexus 5X. When it comes to USB OTG support, the Moto X Pure or Style does support it, whereas the Nexus 5X comes with a Type-C USB port and we do not have a Type-C pen drive as yet to test, so we are not sure whether it supports the same or not. Even if it supports, the support will not be as wide because you will have to get Type-C USB cables Which brings me to my next point, which is the connectors that you get on these two. The conventional micro USB port is used on the Moto X Pure or Style, whereas you get a Type C connector on the Nexus 5X. While this is the future, but this is still very rare. You will find it very hard to get Type C cables and Type C chargers, whereas you will have plenty of micro USB lying around at your place, at your workplace, at your friend's place, so it will be much easier to charge your Moto X Pure compared to the Nexus 5X, for which you may have to carry your USB Type-C cable everywhere, wherever you go. But the plus side is both the phones support fast charging. They are supplied with fast charger in the box, so it is a big plus and big thumbs up for both the phones. None of them are capable of wireless charging inbuilt. You may have to put extra covers or cases which support wireless charging. Another plus with the Moto X Pure is that it is highly customizable. In some countries where you get Moto Maker, you can customize the color, back, accent, and also even etch your name on the phone, which makes it really convenient to make an exclusive style statement with your phone, which is truly customized as per your needs. This feature is not available across the globe. In some countries, you can customize your Moto phones with Moto Maker. Last but not the least, battery performance. With a 5.7-inch Quad HD display to support, the Motorola Moto X Pure drains much faster compared to the Nexus 5X. But at the same time, it has around 10% larger battery at 3000 mAh compared to 2700 mAh battery on the Nexus 5X. But still, you would probably get better real-time battery on the Nexus 5X thanks to the doze feature that is found on the Android 6.0 Marshmallow that also helps in battery saving. So here you have it, our list of pros and cons of each of these phones, how they compare against each other and which one you should pick. In my personal opinion, I would any day pick the Moto X Pure for the better multimedia experience, better build, better audio and video quality, and good video stabilization. However, the Nexus 5X is also not a bad choice with a very fast fingerprint scanner, a sleeker lightweight form factor, one-handed usage, ability to get latest Android updates very fast, and a slightly better battery life. You can pick either of these, and I'm leaving best buy links to purchase either of them in the description section below, where you can buy them for the best price. This is all we have on this comparison. We have done more videos on Nexus 5X and Moto X Style. The links to the playlist are provided in the description section below. If you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up by pressing the like button below, and for latest video updates, make sure you hit the red subscribe button. I hope to see you on my next video. This is your host Rohit Khurana signing off. Thanks for watching.